wronged, he feels belittled, that he did something bad, he doesn't understand. I said, fix this. Please bring me a room that's reasonable. Come on. Don't be a jerk. And Dustin now is like completely disappointed. It's crazy making. Literally, this is a double bind that produces schizophrenia. I mean, he would go, if I kept on doing that, he would go crazy. So what would I say? Say, Dustin, I don't find this room helpful. And let me explain you why. I need people to be able to move around for the activity. And I'm sorry, I didn't explain that to you, so I'm telling you. I need people to move. So I like a room that doesn't have fixed tables and chairs in it. So that's my standard. I'm explaining my standard. So my request is that you check with the hotel again and see if they have another room, because I can't use this. So this is, I'm making it actionable. I'm not just saying, you're a jerk, you made a mistake, and that's it. Say, no. Thank you. I cannot use the room. You didn't make a mistake. It's just this room doesn't work for me. The room is not bad. It could be very useful for other purposes, but for my purpose, it's not going to work. This is why it's not going to work. I'm explaining to you. And I take responsibility that maybe I didn't make that clear. And there's an implication. What are we going to do about that? I'm not just giving you feedback about the room. I want a room. So what can we do? And here's a concrete recommendation. This is how we can take care of the situation. Does that answer your question? Good. Now, some people think, okay, am I going to become disempowered by doing that? And this doesn't take away your power. I was talking with a couple of you over one of the breaks, and say, well, this could be very touchy-feely, and then I feel like, I can't use my power. I'm a leader. I have to use my strength. How do I do it? Let me take a very extreme scenario. I'm going to fire someone. There's a very toxic way of firing a person, and there's a very clean, honorable way to fire a person. And the clean, honorable way is not you're a jerk. The clean, honorable way is to use a samurai sword that cuts without leaving residue, hopefully opening the heart of the other person so they learn something for their next job. And what I say is, I don't want to work with you anymore. That's what I would say. I don't have trust that you can accomplish what I'm paying you to do. I'm not saying I know it. I have to make an assessment. So let's say I'm the boss. It's my organization. So I don't have trust. And let me tell you why. This is what I've observed in the past. This is what I expect of someone in your position. You're not meeting my expectations. I'm not saying you should or you're immoral for that, but as it stands, you're not meeting my expectations. So I'm going to let you go. I mean, this is not the conversation I would have. I'm making it extreme because I haven't taught the inquiry. In a real conversation, there would be back and forth. But just to use these three things. Yeah, I'll be with you and Diane in a second. So to make it extreme, I could say, this is my opinion. I'm not firing you because you're bad. You didn't do. I don't know what wrong would mean in that situation. But I'm saying I'm fed up. I mean, the truth is I'm fed up. I just can't take it anymore. I don't want to take it anymore. And this is what I don't want to take anymore. This is what I would expect of someone in your position. And we've had several conversations and things have not changed. So this is my decision. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's my decision. And I hope you can honor it. And it doesn't create more animosity than it's necessary. So it's a way to make a difficult statement without putting it on the other. So, you're fired because you're a jerk, and you failed, and you're doing a bad job, and you're terrible, so get out of here. That's totally toxic. Yes, Diane?
Well, one of the things that I notice as you're talking about this, Fred, is that it seems like you could own your opinions and explain your reasoning, but your affect could still communicate judgment, yes, anger, yes, you're bad, I'm deeply disappointed. Yes, do you want to speak to that side of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's what I meant when I said that Orange loves this because it looks very rational, because they don't want to go there. So then they start using the words, but they mean the other thing. Right. It's like, okay, I learned now the politically correct way of saying it. It's like, so I own my opinion, but the affect behind that is, you're a jerk, get out of my...
precisely.
I have the power. And
okay.
So exactly what you say. The way this language only works when it is a true expression of your feeling. The language is relatively easy to adopt. the transformation of your feeling is what I call the tool user. However, I like to use the metaphor of tennis. If you play tennis, after a while, if you check your arms, let's say you're right-handed, so you play tennis for a year or two, and if you check your, anybody play tennis here? Okay, can you just raise your arms and just, it's hard to see because you're, okay, but what happens to, can you compare your right and left? Do you have a difference in your right and left arm?
Well, I haven't played in a while because I hurt my knee.
Oh, okay.
But my right arm.
It's bigger. Yeah, it's bigger. Did you ever want your right arm to be bigger? Did you set out to say, I want to grow my right arm? No, it just happened with the practice. So that's, for me, is the power of the tool. It's a gentle way to initiate people in a practice that if they keep doing it and they before they know it, it begins to alter their way of thinking. And Ken and I had a long discussion about this, but I think now he agrees with me. You can ask him. Because Ken used to say transformation takes a long time. It's very, very difficult. Translation is easier, but transformation, it's very expensive, not cheap. Several years, a lot of work. I say yes, but there's something in the middle between translation and transformation. And I call it robustness. So let's just say that on a good day, you say on a good day or in a good day? On a good day, you are operating in yellow, where you're fairly sensitive, you can adopt the other person's perspective, you can also have the task in mind, you can combine these things, you can integrate, so reasonably integral on a good day. But now, you're not having a good day, and the other person is working really hard to ruin your day. So you revert to red, and you're operating at that red level. It's like, I'm going to rip your guts out. And maybe you keep the language of yellow because you can still verbalize the words, but the affect behind the words is like, I'm going to freaking kill you. Even as I say, let me own my opinion, I want to tell you, this is like, it's obvious to the other person that that's not a yellow statement. One thing you can do without so much effort, without the work of transformation, is to learn how to stay at the higher standards when you're having a bad day. So that gives you a very quick hit, because if you touch the yellow, but in some situations you revert, when someone challenges you, or when you're upset, or then there are practices that you can follow that will give you a very quick payback, very quick payoff, because they'll bring you, instead of red, you go up to, I don't know, orange or green. Maybe not all the way up, but you can maintain a much higher standard in the midst of a difficult situation. And for those who know you from the outside, it looks like transformation, because they know that you tend to be extremely low-level consciousness, reactive, and suddenly you start operating at a much higher level. But it's not strictly transformation, it's just that you've learned to maintain your higher level of functioning in the face of a challenge. And this is what this does. I mean, people cognitively, executives in companies are fairly advanced. They're very smart people. So they understand this, and they see that a lot of things they do don't work. It's just the affect that it's hard to keep. So this is a tool, like a tennis racket, that if they keep using it and they are mindful, it slowly begins to grow some heart muscles that were not there before.
Yes. And Ken, we hear him make the comment that cognition often leads.
Yes.
So the rest of your process might be behind developmentally, exactly, but your cognition's out in front. So that's a great example. Yes.